Good morning, everybody, and a happy Saturday morning to you. We have another really long video you're not going to believe. We have another pep walk from Meghan. Of course, we haven't had one of those in a while. It was necessary. We have a lot of information about what's going on in Australia. We have a lot. You guys just are not going to believe all this. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We are starting off today with King Charles and Queen Camilla. They attended the Royal Maundy service in Wales on April 2nd. Now, this service dates back to 600 AD, and it's when the sovereign distributes coins to local pensioners on the Thursday before Easter. So they got out of the car looking really spiffy. There was an orchestra there. It's kind of hard to see. There was an orchestra there underneath the white tent playing some beautiful music. And when they got there, they immediately, shook hands and walked in and, were greeted by everybody. There was a big crowd. Charles was seen waving, and we're going to see what went on as we continue. So they go on into the church for the service. Now, this is where I'm starting to get angry because the church that they were going to was defaced. Somebody actually took spray paint to this beautiful church and defaced it with "Not My King" in red spray paint on the walls of this ancient cathedral. So, of course, the local council immediately went to work to try to remove it. And you should know that the Republic has not taken responsibility for that. And, of course, nobody's been charged. And the police said that they're investigating. See, this is the kind of stuff that's going to hurt that movement, because if you don't agree with the king, you take the right steps. You don't deface an ancient cathedral. Anyway, the Royal Maundy service sees the sovereign distribute Maundy money or special coins to local pensioners, usually retirees, in a service that is symbolic of Jesus washing the apostles' feet at the Last Supper. I told you already the service dates back to 600 AD, and Charles has continued the practice. Queen Elizabeth used to do this, and she practiced the event at a different cathedrals and abbeys around the UK, but Charles, no. So afterwards, he goes down to meet the crowd, and then the royal family put out a little video showing what went on for the day, and I'm going to play it for you. Here you go. Now, this year's Royal Maundy service was very notable. It's the first time it's been held in Wales since 1982, and just the second time in the tradition's history. Of course, Wales is a meaningful place for King Charles. He was the Prince of Wales for 64 years before he ascended to the throne upon the passing of his mother in September of 2022. Charles then used his first speech as sovereign to name William, the direct successor, as the new Prince of Wales, which we know makes Catherine the Princess of Wales. So on Easter Sunday, on April 5th, the King and Queen are due to lead the royal family at the Easter service at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle to worship the holiday. You guys know that when that happens, I will, bring it to you. So the second royal wedding for 2026 was confirmed right after Peter Phillips announced his upcoming nuptials to Harriet Spurling. Lady Marina Windsor, the granddaughter of the Duke of Kent, is going to marry her fiancé on June 20th, 2026. Hope Harry and Meghan aren't holding their breaths for an invite. And by the way, they're saying that where Peter and Harriet are getting married is unusual because it bypasses major royal venues like St. George's Chapel in favor of a quiet village setting. I think that that's fabulous, and the decision was driven by a desire for a private, intimate ceremony away from the public spotlight. Going back to King Charles, it's been announced by Buckingham Palace that the king will not give an Easter message this year. That it's not a message the palace releases every year, unlike the annual Christmas speech. So, I mean, it's not, everybody's like, oh my God, he's converted. He hasn't converted. This is not something that's done every year, and he's not doing it. Next up, you got Prince Andrew. He was seen driving around the Sandringham estate with his security officer. I mean, listen, he can't go horseback riding. Nobody's going to visit him. He's got nothing to do. So he's riding around with his officer. But I did hear, and I told you guys in my last video, that there was a trailer delivered. I thought it was for staff. It's actually for security. For some reason, people think he's living in it. He's not. Now moving on, we have Princess Anne as Commandant-in-Chief of the First Aid Nursing Yeomanry, which is her volunteer corps, accompanied by her fabulous husband, Sir Tim Lawrence. She attended a livery dinner at the Grocers Hall. This took place March 4th, but of course we're just getting the pictures. And this, just so you know, is the first time that she has ever apparently worn the yeomanry mess dress. I love it. All right, now I want to cover this before we move on to Harry and Meghan. This was interesting. Apparently, the king wrote 2 notes raising his concerns to Keir Starmer about naming Lord Mandelson to the post that he was named. And apparently, a lot of documents connected to the appointment came out. And then they found out that the king said it's probably not a good idea. And of course, they appointed him anyway. Next up, a big thank you to that one on Twitter. That's one of the accounts that got thrown off, reinstated, and thrown off again. She's back, and she's pointing out, first of all, Harry's mannerisms. He has very effeminate hands. It's creepy. And the facial expressions of the people that are standing next to him. But I want you to watch his hands during this bit. Here we go. You guys, something is going to happen because Harry was photographed with the chef and owner named Cindy Wolf at Charleston. This is a fine dining restaurant in Baltimore. So what was he doing in Baltimore? So something is going to come out later. He was probably there stitching up some other deal or something. We'll find out. All right, let's move on. Lord. All right, we know that Kelly McKean-Zafin just welcomed her 3rd child named Zach with her husband Julian. We already covered this. Beautiful baby. We know that her son, her other son, died very tragically after receiving COVID, and then I believe it was encephalitis or viral meningitis, and he passed away in 2022. So Jack's middle name is a tribute to her son. But here's the thing that gets me. Meghan Markle has something delivered to her. This is what it was. So that shows you how much effort she really put into this friendship. Because remember, we saw her putting these things together. So after she put them all together, she was like, oh shit, what am I going to do with these things now? All right, next up, a big thank you to Stephen or Stefan Tamag, however you want to say it, for letting me know that Meghan tried to copyright claim or trademark some stuff in Canada and it got denied. All right, let's move on. Let me tell you what is coming out now. It's been found out that the As Ever brand was completely financed by Netflix, everything top to bottom. And of course, we found this out 2 weeks after the expose on how Harry and Meghan had such a falling out with the streaming service, and the platform said they were exhausting and they're done with them. So this guy said, I can tell you personally from sources and from my prior reporting that Netflix paid for everything, for the manufacturer, the shipping, the branding, like a massive investment. They paid for everything. Of course, He pointed out, rightfully so, if the brand was such a runaway hit with immediate sellouts, if you're going from success to success with, record-breaking sellouts, why, after a year, would Netflix bail? Doesn't that contradict the responsibility they have to shareholders, which is to provide value? It just defies common sense. Well, maybe that's why Netflix, as I told you in my previous video, just increased their prices because they lost so much money. So people are wondering what's really going on because in March, again, Variety chief Matt Donnelly wrote the report saying that the streamer is done with them. So if that's the case, then why are Harry and Meghan busy working on an untitled scripted series about the world of polo for Netflix? This polo series follows their polo that they did that was a complete flop, and Live to Lead that was a complete flop, and the Masaka Kids that was a complete flop, and the criticism has been relentless, and there's a lot of commentary out there suggesting the concepts that they keep coming up with are out of touch and difficult for audiences to connect with. Comments online are horrible, and within the showbiz industry, the idea has been met with complete disbelief, and that has amplified the backlash in a way that Harry and Meghan just did not expect. What it comes down to is the only thing they were able to come out with that had any bite that people were interested in was when they first started attacking the royal family. The royal family has cut them off. Therefore, they have nothing new to offer. Now there's more bad news that although they've tried to make it look like Meghan's wellness retreat is sold out, it turns out it's not. They're still reaching out to people on Reddit and offering them a chance to bring a friend. There's a Reddit user whose husband signed her up early as a joke, and she's still getting contacted about when she plans to purchase her seat for this event, and she was told via email on March 26th that she had 48 hours to claim her spot, or it's going to be released to somebody else. Then she got another email from Gemma O'Neill's assistant, which says, we've had an overwhelming response to the retreat, and after a few follow-ups, we received feedback emails. Some ended up in junk folders, and now there's a new reply deadline of April 2nd. We need to hear back, or we'll offer it to another person on the wait list. I mean, come on, guys. There's only 300 people. They can't fill the room. Now, in the meantime, Jackie Henderson, the other woman from the Best Life podcast, has spoken out, and she's had something to say. It sounds like Meghan helped her write this, but listen to this.
Around stories that you might have seen that have been written about me, and I actually wrote down what I wanted to say around this because I do feel like I'm probably not the sharpest right now with how I'm feeling. So I know you might have seen the media coverage about me recently because there's been a series of stories that have been written that, to be honest, are pretty hurtful and in many parts inaccurate. And I need to be clear here that there are legal reasons why I can't go into detail, which is why I haven't, and it's also why I won't. But what I will say is this, is that I stand by my integrity, I stand by my work, and I stand by how I've conducted myself in business over a very long career. And what's been particularly hard is seeing assumptions made about things like me apparently going quiet. But the reality was that I was receiving a level of online abuse that was quite frankly disgusting and felt very scary. And so I made the decision to step back from my personal Instagram to protect my mental health while I was pregnant. Obviously, since then, I've been going through something very personal with the loss of a baby. None of that has anything to do with me having something to hide. It was about me taking care of myself during a very difficult moment. And I guess what I think is disappointing is when reporting crosses the line from journalism into something that feels far more like creating noise or even bullying. And that's just not something that I'm ever going to engage with. I know who I am. The people who matter in my life know who I am. And that matters a lot more to me than a clickbait headline. So I'm not going to give it oxygen beyond this, but I just wanted you to hear directly from me. So as I mentioned earlier, on a personal note, given that I'm feeling, a bit full of grief right now, I'm going to take a little break from the podcast, which I really hope you guys can understand. I just need to have a moment to process and heal, and I guess just let it all out. Now, of course, I know we still have Her Best Life retreat coming up in, just over 2 weeks. And honestly, with how I'm feeling right now, I really can't think of anything more special than being in a room with our community, because our community are the most beautiful, warm, loving, friendly, fun group of people. And really, that's something that I feel like I'm going to need in my life in a few weeks. So I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing all of you there who are coming. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to interviewing Meghan, Duchess of Sussex too. I have been in awe of how she handles all of the public scrutiny she receives as well. So there's a lot that I want to ask her. I know that the team are trying really hard to get some more last-minute spots. So if they do open up, make sure that that you've registered if you're interested. So
she said it's crossing the line, making noise, bullying. This sounds like Meghan Markle. These are Meghan Markle's buzzwords, journalism. It's not what it should be, blah, blah, blah. Now, in the meantime, while all of this is happening, it's being reported that Harry is really upset over this meet and greet in Australia because it's damaging their reputation while he's trying to repair relations with the royal family. It's being reported he doesn't like the way it's being framed. It sends the wrong message at what is a sensitive time for him. It leaves him uneasy because he knows how it's going to be perceived, particularly by his family and by critics who already question their motives. And that's quite frankly the last thing he needs right now. And he's concerned that it could undo a lot of quiet progress he feels that he's been making behind the scenes to repair relationships in the UK. I think Harry is literally delusional when he thinks that he can just turn back time and fix the problems with the royal family. They don't trust him anymore. They're going to let him back in. He's going to write another book. And beyond even that, don't forget that Tom Bowers said in the book, as we're covering it, you guys know, every evening at 6 o'clock, that Tom Bowers said that Meghan had brainwashed Harry. And so Harry now feels like he's at war again with Camilla, and that this book is going to derail any chance of repairing things with his father. He sees Camilla as a major obstacle, and these latest claims from the book have reinforced his view that she was working against him behind the scenes. It's open to old wounds. He's fuming. Forget it. He's not going to reconcile. Now, while all of this is going on, it appears that Meghan took a leaf out of Catherine's Let's Be Outside, and she's talking about spring break doesn't have to be a getaway to feel like an escape. And she's trying to sell her products. It's not working. Spend an afternoon over Easter decorating eggs together, a bowl of dye. Maybe she wants people to put flour sprinkles on the eggs. And while you're doing that, drink. Guzzle some alcohol, because that's the only way you'll be able to get through. I mean, guys, really? And then, of course, we have the inevitable pap walk, because there's no way that Meghan could just go out and buy something for Archie and Lily and not have her picture taken. So she called the paps, and here you go. And of course, she's dressed just perfectly with the scarf artfully draped, blah, blah, blah. Such a setup. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that once again, Meghan's not wearing her actual engagement ring. So, that'll stir up a lot of hype. And also, she's head to toe, basically in beige again. Now, a big thank you to Her Most Imperial Majesty, Queen of Cats, for finding the following thing. First of all, that's what the box costs. And then you have to add tax. Then you have to add $35 in shipping. Well, she found somebody stupid enough to buy this box and spend that money, and this is what they actually got. So this is what the outside of the box looks like. This is what it looked like when she opened it, and this was the finished product. I don't think that's worth $300 and whatever dollars. What a ripoff. The truth is, Meghan keeps proving to the world that she still doesn't get it. Everything is carefully curated and disconnected. She repackages inauthentic experiences. She can't handle criticism. She has a recurring theme of public skepticism. Her shows have viewers dropping by over 60% compared to her earlier projects. She's not going to be able to continue on like this. Oh my God. All right. You know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box to find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which is up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, and a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.